whatever battles we are experiencing in life, Father God, that you help us with these battles. I pray for our wives, Lord, that you help them be in a better, and not just our wives, but ourselves, that you help us be at a better mental space, Father God, that the things that we're used to doing, Lord, I just pray that we change those into glorifying you. And if it's not glorifying you, I just pray that we put those things aside, Lord. Definitely speaking for myself, and just pray that this podcast may bless somebody today, that the word reaches thousands of people, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, and we love you. In your son's precious name we pray, amen.
Amen. Welcome to another edition of Trust the Process Podcast. It's yours truly, Rob the People's Plug Martin, joined by always the Reverend Nicholas Martin. And my bad. Mr. Irregular Strength himself, Julius Maddox, live in the building. What's up, guys?
What's up? Man. What up?
So we just had this whole conversation before the podcast.
We're coming in hot.
Yeah, coming in hot. But so the
Bro, you sweating?
Who?
I'm just playing with you.
What is wrong with you? Are you sweating? You got on 3 shirts? Rob could take a bullet.
Like
Listen,
that.
I'm telling y'all.
He ain't like that, Nick.
Rob could take a bullet with as many layers as he has on,
like
bro.
That, Nick, did he?
Did y'all see Jaren's video?
Which one?
What is it? This morning, he.
Oh yeah.
I guess he was going to the gym about 4,
and
he just said, "I want to get real. Like I've been struggling financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally." And I love what he said. He was like, "But I got to keep going, and I got to get back to the core of who I am."
Yeah.
You know, because those things have been off. So that's why I'm at the gym this morning. I thought that was pretty
that's right.
Transparent and open and honest.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's big. I was reading in Ephesians 2 last night, and it talked about how Christ being the cornerstone, and it just reminded me that it's how important it is to always be checking the foundation, right? Because if you continue, it goes in line with what we were just talking about. If you continue to build on something without that firm foundation being set, it's going to crumble eventually. I don't
100%.
care what you use for the walls, for the outside, for the roof. It doesn't matter. If the foundation ain't set, everything else is going to crumble.
Absolutely.
So I was Gary Vee. I was listening to him yesterday, and that's what he said. He said the problem with social media and these new influencers is they want everything fast,
quick. Yeah,
they want everything quick. They want to build a brand quick. They want to build a business quick. He said, every business I build, my goal is to build it slow.
Yeah.
He said, because if I build it slow, it has a good foundation.
Yeah.
He said, the problem with our generation and those after us is we come up with a brand, we want it to blow up in a year.
Yeah.
We want it to blow up in 6 months.
Yeah.
We don't know how to slow down and build a long, sustaining, successful building on a good foundation.
That's what CJ said. I listened to their podcast a few weeks ago, the Secret to Success podcast. It's ET and them, and he said the worst thing that could probably happen to you in a young business is you get 1,000 customers thrown at you. Because what happens is you can't you would be given 1,000 refunds.
You don't have the infrastructure.
You don't have the foundation to be able to hold what you're trying to build.
Yeah.
So of course, that looks sexy, right? Man, I'm doing all this, I'm selling all this. But if you can't execute, then what good is it?
So how do you work on the foundation in life? Like what is how does that play out? What does that look like?
Foundation check, right? So even last night when I was reading, going back to Ephesians, if it would be better, let's say that you're just building, right? You're think about the analogy of a house. If you're putting up the walls and you're doing the exterior work, you're putting the things that look good, right?
Yeah.
Like the metal, the siding. You change the color of the siding, right? It would be better for you to stop, even though you put in the time, the effort, the energy in doing that work. It would be better to tear it all down to replace the foundation than it would be to try to band-aid it on a higher level just to keep going.
But what about the guy that says, I'm building a foundation? How does he know if it is a good foundation or a faulty one?
Right. So here's how
some people, like, you got to think like in Colony, right? They might build a foundation in one day.
That's what I was going to say. So here's how you check the foundation. The only way to know that what your foundation looks like is when the storm comes.
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Or to strip everything down.
well, not the storm is going to expose,
Yeah, but or to strip everything down.
but a lot of people don't want to do that because
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
takes work, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a sunny day, why would you expect for me to tear my house down just to fix
Yeah.
the foundation, right? I don't need to.
So if someone built a foundation, construction person, how would they know if that was a good foundation they built or a faulty one?
There's code.
There's code,
Yeah.
but maybe only time will tell.
The storm is going to tell, not time. It may stand, right? When
Mhm.
nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But when things start shaking, you really get to find out what's what.
So
Yeah.
you see the new houses they're building in like a month.
Oh, yeah.
What's usually happen when it throws?
When the storm comes,
When
you
the
don't know it.
or when the foundation sets, they said the house started to
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's not just one storm, but it's multiple storms. So it's tested by the time, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So time is
The
what
phone got louder, didn't it?
It did.
the time is what's being tested.
Yeah.
So over time, it starts to break down. For example, I got a friend that has a real Louis Vuitton wallet,
Mhm.
right? I bought a knockoff wallet.
Yeah.
I seen his wallet a couple weeks ago, and his wallet was still flawless, right?
Pristine.
Ask me about mine. The
Bro.
strings is unraveling. It's
Yeah.
the little folders on the inside are starting to come apart.
Mhm.
It's that replica.
Yeah, it's a replica. So off top, the foundation was wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. The point I'm trying to make is from the get go, from the start, that the foundation was tainted of the materials that they used. Everything. It wasn't the quality materials that real Louis Vuitton uses, right?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest issue in foundations is people want to shortcut a solid foundation.
Exactly.
The process, because it takes so much time to
We
to
can make
prepare
this
it.
cheaper. We
Yeah.
can make this look alike.
Cheaper.
We can make this.
Yep.
We can make this pass the eyeball test.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah, it'll look good, right? But
Yeah.
think about this. There's a difference in building a 2-story house and a single story house.
yeah.
The difference is in the foundation. You know,
Yeah.
although you may be just stacking, one story on top of another, what supports that is its foundation, right?
Ultimately,
So
yeah.
the same foundation can't hold the single story foundation can't hold a 2-story house.
Yeah.
Something's going to crumble. Something's going to break. Something's going to be compromised in the midst of that. And a lot of times it's catastrophic,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't take the time to dig deeper,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? So I think that's a perfect picture of even what we was talking about, like how important it is to always be checking what is the foundation of who we are. What's the foundation of what we are?
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, when you think about FOS, it was a 18-month program.
That's right.
It was because they knew it would take time to tear down the foundation and rebuild a new one.
That's it.
So what we like to do, though, even in marriage, even in friendships, even in life, is we like to quicken the process.
Yeah, we want the
Well,
we
I
want
can
RCD.
take a few skips through the mud.
Hey,
I
dude,
can,
we want RCD.
I
Mhm.
can
30 day. We trying to get in and out.
Yeah, I can buy a quicker hammer. I can buy the quick nails. I can
Quick nails,
What's
quick
a quicker
hammer.
hammer?
what
That's
what's the nail gun? I can buy a nail gun, so I ain't got a hammer. I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I got
That
you.
does work a lot better.
yeah, it does.
Well, I'm just saying everything becomes just like faster.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
The Amish is still using the old stuff.
No, they use a nail gun, bro.
Nah,
I
but
promise
what
you.
they coming in?
What do you mean?
They building a good house, ain't they?
yeah,
Oh yeah, they are, but they use a nail gun
What's the difference?
because they take their time.
because they
talk about
They
time?
wear plain clothes.
No,
Nah,
I
what's
think
the
I
difference?
think the difference between
You heard
the-
about an Amish building something? You know what they say? It's gonna last forever.
I know because of the time, the material, the process, the
They don't take
process is different.
shortcuts.
The
And
work,
they can work fast because they got the process down.
the workmanship.
They
Yeah,
don't
but
take
they,
shortcuts.
think
But-
about this.
But listen, hold on. Their foundation from the time these kids are raised
That's right.
until
Their
older,
foundation.
their foundation was set from a long time ago.
Hey,
So
they
they-
take Johnny out of school at 3rd grade and be like,
And
"Look,
Johnny's building houses. Johnny's built, or it'd be like a Donald. I would say. What kind
Yeah,
of?
yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: is so because they have took the time to check the foundation and say, look, if we can start these boys out when they're young, man, when they're young men, they're going to be able to build a house with their eyes closed, right? Because they have done it so long and have mastered the process of building that they do it. They make it look easy. How about that? It's not easy. Don't get it twisted. It's not easy, no way, shape, or form. What they've done is they have mastered the process of foundation work, and that's why everything they build lasts.
Yeah, for
I seen
sure.
this thing the other day. It said something about I think I sent it to y'all. It's about like if I have mastered my craft, even though it may take me 30 minutes, you're not paying me for those 30 minutes. You're paying
Yeah.
me for the years that I've
Put
kept
into
my
this.
foundation
Absolutely.
in check.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're paying me for the years and the blood and the sweat and the tears that I've put into being who I said I am.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the foundation, that's why it's so important to make sure that the foundation is always intact. And we know as believers that if Christ isn't in his rightful place, just like I said last night, that Christ would be the cornerstone, right?
Yeah.
The cornerstone is where all the weight is supported.
Yeah.
The
And
rest of the foundation, in between the two corners, it's just a support. It's just a
Yeah.
support beam.
but let's get it. Let's don't get it twisted. Like when it comes to humans, mankind is our foundation is always needing to be checked.
Always, and that's why I said it's a foundation
Always.
check.
So I always,
Always. I
so-
mean,
yeah. So I think like things you do to check your foundation, like what my wife would tell you, is if my foundation is off, I'm off, right?
Mm.
She will know if I'm not in my word by how I'm
Nick wakes
acting.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
When Nick starts giving him eyeballs,
So
John knows.
So you can't prevent the storm coming, but you can control what you can control, right?
that's what I'm
Like
saying.
I can control waking up at 5:30 and getting in my word. I can control spending time in prayer. I can't control if life punches me in the mouth, though.
That's what I'm saying. So although you're always checking your foundation, the only thing that's going to expose how well your foundation is the storm,
yeah.
right? So you can't go through life expecting there not to be storms.
Yeah, the
And a lot of
storm's
people-
coming.
The storm is coming.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean?
inevitable. Yeah.
It's always.
Mhm.
And that's when you find out who you really are at your core. That's when your
Yeah.
foundation is exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you don't know when a tornado's coming, right? But
Yeah.
you see after a tornado comes through, the houses that stood,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
What they tell people in trailers or manufactured homes?
Get out of that trailer.
They don't tell them to get into the middle of the trailer.
No, they tell them.
They
to get
know
out.
what time it is.
Yeah.
Hey, evacuate. You know how that warning
Yeah. Oh,
noise
100%.
goes off?
Yeah.
Leave now.
Yeah. I mean,
And think about like I listen to Dave Ramsey a lot, and he always says people try to skip the process. He's like, look, until you put 1,000 in savings, until you put this much into your 401k, don't invest.
Yeah.
Because what he says is if you don't follow these steps,
You
you eventually will pull out of what you invest in anyway to cover
Absolutely.
these steps.
And that's why they always say that, when you get something free, there's no way you can value it.
So
right?
guess what people do though to him? They argue with him. Why
Yeah.
do I need to put 1,000 in savings?
Right.
Why can't I just put it in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And he was like, because you're gonna be pulling it out of Bitcoin when you need the savings.
That's it. Because he found
makes
out
sense.
that like if you will invest something, if it costs you something, it's going to mean something more to you,
Mhm.
right? So you both y'all worked at Friends of Sinners. You've seen people say, "Man, I got it all together now." After 2 months, I figured it
Yeah.
out, right? And then a month later, I mean, it never fails.
never fails.
That's
You know-
the big issue when you see guys. Like I've been walking with this guy, and anybody can be on fire for 2 weeks. It's that quick results kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm in my word this week, Nick. I'm sending you scripture. And Jew always say, well, what about 6 months?
yeah, and nothing's changed.
What about
Yeah.
a year? Because everybody does it for a week or two.
Right.
Everybody does it when their feet's against the fire.
That's the thing. is,
Everybody puts in the work then. But do you do it when nobody's looking?
It's easy to do the right thing when the right thing is the only thing that you have to do.
Do you do it when your feet ain't against the fire?
Yeah.
Do you do it when you don't feel like doing it?
Yeah.
I think that's what separates the men from the boys, right? The men do it when they don't feel like doing it. When the life punches them in the mouth, they still work on their foundation.
Yeah.
Facts.
Boys just do it when they feel like doing it,
Or when they have to do it.
or when they have
like
to do
like when you're forced to do it. That's why I said like if you go to jail, of course you're gonna go to rehab.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rehab is a step up from where you're at.
Yeah.
But if something doesn't get changed internally at the foundation, then it's inevitable that you're gonna go back because it didn't cost you anything. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? Whenever Jew experienced having to just see his daughter through that glass, it did something to him at his core. He felt that,
Facts.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If he didn't ever feel that, I'm telling you, it was inevitable that he was going to go back to that.
For sure.
Just
And
like a dog goes, but what I don't know what that
Returns to
scripture
his
is.
vomit.
Yeah,
Here's what's crazy: is foundation
A
affects
fool returning to his folly is like a dog returning to his vomit.
And what's crazy is you think about a foundation; it affects every part of life. Think about bench pressing. People just want to get under the bench,
yeah, Yeah.
If your feet ain't right, if your back ain't right,
Yeah.
the rest will be off, right?
Yeah.
Are you getting your foundation? I always see Jew when he preps for a big lift. He makes sure all those small things are right first.
Yeah.
Is my foundation, am I laying right? Is my feet set? And if not, it will throw your whole bench off, right?
Yeah.
It will throw your whole life off if the foundation isn't where it's supposed to be at.
Oh yeah, we've seen it. We've seen Jew go through the storm. Jew did all the things right.
Yeah.
He set up right. He executed on the small things. He was there. He's been putting in the work. And then a storm came and somebody put an extra plate on the other side.
Oh,
and
yeah,
there's
for
nothing
sure.
he can do about that, right?
Yeah, you gotta be able to adjust. A lot of times, so the problem is when people see their foundation being rocked, they don't either sweep it under the floor. I mean, sweep it under the rug, like it'll be all right. But there's no like preventative maintenance. I think when it comes to like your foundation, and I hate we keep using foundation, but it's a good word to use. But the point is your foundation when it gets rocked. Like we have two things you can do. You can either fix it or you can either ignore it and go around it. And there's been times where, when my foundation was rocked, and this is even in this season where, all right, how can we adjust? We adjust. But then there's times in parts of my life where I was just like, yeah, basically it'll be all right, and just kind of went around it. You know what I mean? And eventually, the point I'm trying to make is eventually it's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up to you.
Well, the next storm only gets bigger, right?
Yeah. So
Our generation, they want that. What's that concrete called? The
Quickcrete.
Quickcrete.
They want to put the Quickcrete on it.
Yeah.
Quickcrete.
They won't patch it up.
What's the Quickcrete do?
But that's what I'm saying.
It
Like
dries real quick.
It looks good. It looks good the first probably week.
you want something to hard and cure. Like
What's
again,
it look good? How long is the Quickcrete look good?
I mean, I don't know. I ain't never a Quickcrete. Still, you can use it for like I've used Quickcrete for stuff.
But it's just a Band-Aid.
But yeah, basically it can be. But I want to say people use fence posts. When they put fence posts in, they use Quickcrete. And Quickcrete's, I mean, I guess it's good.
What Nick's saying is it's not going to last as long as
concrete.
As concrete.
It ain't.
Jew, you've seen people's fence. You've seen people's fences
My fence
get put
did
up,
that.
and then they
was
start
saggy.
Yeah, they start bowing. They start giving. It can't hold up on the weight of what has been built. Like you've seen it before. Quickcrete isn't a bad thing.
I remember I bought a pool and I wanted it up that day.
Oh yeah.
And the guy told me, he said,
what are you doing?
He said, didn't somebody just knock? Yeah.
Oh no. I'll go get it.
The guy told me, he said, hey, putting up a pool is about a week process. Because he wanted me to kill the grass, level it out first, and then focus on. But guess what? I wanted this. My wife?
No, dude.
I bought a pool that day. I wanted it up that day. But guess what? My pool ended up looking like sideways.
No way.
Yeah, it was sideways. The one side was leaning over the other side because I didn't want to go through the proper process. I wanted a quick fix. I wanted to get in my pool that day. But eventually I had to take down the pool and redo it. And it cost me a lot of extra work.
Well, guys, we thank you guys for tuning in.
Hey, it was a good thing.
It was a good thing. So, like, foundation, like, it's very key. Check your foundation. Like,
we're done.
Well, Nick has to go, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a good pause.
I was going to let Heaven get on.
All right,
Heaven, come on in.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Uh-oh.
The podcast about to be real.
Heaven, you coming?
No, come on in here. Let's go through a counseling session.
Yeah, special guest.
We got special guests. We don't do this often, guys.
Yeah, we got a special guest coming.
It's about to get interesting.
Come on in here and join us.
Come on in here and have a seat.
Welcome to the round table.
Come on in here and have a seat. Why are you scared?
What are you talking about?
We're just talking.
Foundation right now.
My phone, I'm SOS right now.
Man, she's going through the storm.
It says I've been blocked from usage. I
She's
can't even get on it, nothing.
She's going through the storm.
You're going through the storm right now. It's God telling you, hey, look, you might need to back off the phone a little bit. Come over here and sit down. I'll get you a phone. If I have to go buy you a brand new phone today, I will go buy you a brand new phone.
You said you get the iPhone 14.
She's getting it. Listen, so we're talking about foundation.
You want to put the
today.
headphones on?
What time you got to do makeup?
At 12.
It'd be all right.
She's got to go.
It'd be all right. No, we got a few minutes.
We got a couple
What
minutes.
time is it?
11:30. We got 15 minutes.
All right. No, she needs a couple more minutes, bro. She's got to go.
All right, you gonna introduce her?
Yeah. Hey guys, this is my wife. We've been beefing lately. We're going through a season right now. It's part of it. I think it's part of why God took her phone away, just trying to show us, hey, look, some things aren't as important. But anyway, so we're talking about foundation. We're talking about how a person, you'll find out what a person's made of once they're tested by a storm,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're made of, meaning like what kind of foundation is set forth. Like, is your foundation built on sand or is it built on rock? You know,
That's
and
it.
the Bible tells us that. You know, a fool basically builds his house on sand, right?
Yeah.
So something like for us is at an early age, our foundations was built on sand. It was skewed from the jump, you know. So we had to rebuild. Well, God had to rebuild our whole foundation, right?
Yeah. It had to
And
be tore down.
The point for us as a marriage, we can talk about. You can scoot in.
Pull that whole. Yeah.
I
We're
thought
talking
you
about
can't
marriage.
shoot it up.
Nick messed it up.
Pull that to you. Pull that arm to you.
So we're talking about individual, but what about foundation in marriage?
Yeah.
Like, how does that look? How is your marriage centered? What is your marriage centered around?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it centered around self? Is it centered around the gospel? Is it centered around, the world?
What's
It's
the
what-
foundation of
Yeah.
it?
What's the foundation of it? Because a lot of times we go through these problems in marriage because our foundation isn't what it used to be, or we don't have a solid foundation. Period. And I think speaking for us is like one thing that we probably need to do more is probably start being more proactive in like marriage counseling and coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Because like in those times, like I told Rob them and Heaven Rob the other day, the past 2 weeks I've been talking on the podcast about how good my wife is and how good our
Right.
relationship's been. And bro, we've been fighting the past 2 weeks.
Look, you was on.
We both
you
been
was
fighting
on
the past 2
mountain.
weeks.
Look.
Oh, it was because we hadn't fought in we hadn't argued. Everything's been great. But ever since I started glorifying our relationship in front of the world,
That's right.
oh, we've been beefing.
Yeah. That foundation's getting checked.
We've been beefing for real.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, guys saying like you want to talk all this stuff. We're gonna see. How,
I'm gonna show you.
Yeah. We're gonna see what it's really about.
It's been so bad it scared me that I even talk about it on the podcast no more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't want to go
But that's
home
the
in
thing, You
disarray.
can talk about it, right? You can talk about it, but is it playing out in your relationship,
Yeah, I
in your
know.
everyday life?
What
know
you got
I'm
to
saying?
say, Heaven?
I mean, I don't think it's anything foundation breaking. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think our foundation is solid enough that even when I get mad at you and I don't want to talk to you,
We ain't
It
talked in
doesn't
like 3
matter.
days.
it doesn't mean we're going to break up
Yeah.
or get divorced or something. You're
No.
just getting on my nerves right now, and I don't want to talk to you, and you don't want to talk to me. And it's probably better that way for a couple days
Yeah, I mean,
because I get hot headed and I don't want to say stuff that I don't mean because I got a bad mouth and I try to control it.
Yeah,
yeah. So this is a work in progress. I remember a point in time when like me and Heaven like used to really cuss each other out. Like,
yeah,
I mean, this was before Jesus and all this, but yeah, we make leaps and bounds. But the point we were talking earlier is like, yes, but sometimes your foundation could be at default like breaking down, and you don't even realize it.
and
Like,
it's not to
it
the
takes
point.
somebody else or expert to see it first.
Yeah, yeah,
It's something that you can't see because we're so caught up in whatever we have going on. And I'm not speaking on her case. I'm just saying, just in general, like speaking for myself, like when my foundation is being rocked, sometimes it takes Rob or Heaven or somebody to call me out on it. And sometimes I don't even like it.
yeah.
I don't like when people tell me that stuff. I don't like when people tell me that I'm doing something wrong. But as a person, like we have to take a look at it. We have to self-assess and say, hey, look, like, is there any truth to that? What role am I playing in
That's
it?
it.
Right?
Yeah. You have to be able to look in the mirror.
To give you a situation. All right, Heaven posted a TikTok video the other day. I responded childishly, which I'm wrong. I told her I was wrong. I was childish.
Yeah.
I made a comment on there that I shouldn't have commented because I was hurt internally. I felt like I was disrespected internally, so I wanted to give off that same energy.
Yeah,
And I was childish for doing it. I shouldn't have did it. But it made me feel good for a brief second, right? But then guess what it brought? A whole world of problems after that.
man. 3 days of no
3
talk.
days of no talking. And I feel horrible for doing
Cut
it to the
off.
point to where like I admit it in front of everybody, like, but in my mind, there's certain things that like, I feel like that we shouldn't tolerate. And I didn't go about it right. I very rarely go about it right. The last time I didn't go about it right.
Yeah,
But my thing was like, why should I have to keep addressing it?
that's right.
Why can't you see it yourself?
Yeah,
But as a husband, love should be more genuine, and I should have seen in a different perspective. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, how could I have addressed it differently instead of saying, well, you always do that and I hear the same stuff over and over again every time you do something like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like, what can I do different? I don't know. I know I need to take a look at it. I feel bad when I do it.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's always important to be checking, like, who are you at the core?
Yeah.
Right? Like, who are you? What are you made up of? What's the things that you like? What's the things that you know that even though you may like, you can't go that way,
Yeah.
right? So it's always this constant battle against spirit and flesh that you have to literally wage war against.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
And it's I fail.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
We all go through different things that we have to battle against. But like Kevin said, it's never like the house is going to fall down, right? That never happens, because I think what happens, like when a storm comes, it's, even though it may not be a F5 tornado, right? It's still going to show you how solid that foundation is.
We call Rob. We call Martin's Brothers Roofing.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. So
like you said, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the thing is like, even though it may not be a disaster, even though it may not be a divorce, you get a few storms back to back, and it's going to hurt.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't address it,
a few small storms is going to end up
if
hurting.
you don't address it at the moment, in which we always talk about it, we're both hard headed, so we come around.
Yeah.
But it's like, why do we even have to go through that in the first place?
Yeah, because that's how you check to see how stable that you really are. The storm exposes
absolutely.
the storm is a good indicator of how firm that foundation is.
Yeah, what do you say, Heaven?
I mean, everybody argues. I don't think it's something that, I think everybody has little arguments. It's not anything that, for us is shattering, but could be for other people, I guess.
Yeah, I looked at it like, man, we went 6 months without even.
Right. So you've seen this period of growth.
This shows we're not perfect anyways. Like we're regardless of how good our marriage or how much we love each other, we're gonna have spats. I mean, we're only human, and we're gonna do stuff by mistake or on, whatever it be. Like, we just gotta go through those little trials, like you're gonna make mistakes
and adjust. So even when you go through the small things, it's and we truly believe this, that how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So how you handle a small thing, because you're right in the sense of, like, y'all could go through something and be just fine. Yeah. But another couple go through the same exact thing and they're done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because what has happened is y'all have put in so many years of and learned each other and grew together that it doesn't affect you the same way.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I mean? So where you're at today you're not going to be in the same place a year from now, right? So things are going to affect you differently, and I think that's why it's important to always be checking who you are at your core. You know what I mean? Because if not, what happens is things become normalized, right? So now, what I do, what I do and the decisions I make today are normal because I've adapted to the situation at hand.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe because for the sake of not wanting to argue, I just bite my tongue and let it go.
Yeah.
Now that becomes normal. You see,
and that's what I'm saying. Like when you try to go around it, eventually without addressing the issue, then that's when you get to those problems where
a big enough storm. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, a certain size storm you may be able to go through, but let a big enough storm come through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If your foundation isn't set, it's going to take the foundation with it.
Yeah.
You know? So I get it.
Yeah.
That's a great conversation. I feel like a lot of people benefit from that.
Heaven, help out the
we're benefiting from it right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that it was much needed. Heaven, help out the wife real quick.
How about what?
Help out the wife, seeing it from a woman's perspective. How do women check their foundation constantly? Because y'all are getting pulled in so many different directions as a woman, especially in the age of social media. Man, everybody tells you what you should look like. Everybody tells you what you should be. With like filters is scary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It will literally change you. You know what I'm saying? You can take a picture and you can be like, nah, I don't look like this for real.
I've seen some people's profiles where every single picture that they have or video has a filter on it.
Look, they know. Do women not have a favorite filter that they go to?
Oh, for sure.
You see what I'm saying? And
but mine just makes me more tan. See, I don't like putting only because most of those filters. Sometimes I will, but they make my face look fatter. Like they make my lips.
That's
look
what
bigger,
I'm saying. She knows the filter.
Oh, 100%.
You see what I'm saying? So, but a lot of times that's a scary thing because you're playing a comparison game against somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
Well, it comes back to the thing where y'all was talking about like the trauma issues. That's just part of us. Like it's part of, dating boys that broke you down or the media that portrays that you have to look a certain way or you have to be a certain way. So then also girls are keeping up with girls.
That's it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Always comparing themselves.
Even me, I'm not perfect. I love makeup and hair and, all that stuff. But girls aren't really doing it for the guys. They're doing it to one up other girls.
I'd say it's split. Yeah, I'd say it's some probably do it for guys, but some do it. Guys do the same thing. They flex to try to impress. To flex in front of other guys. I get it. I understand that part. Girls do too. But as Christians, like we have to keep that in check because who are we doing it for? But it's just it's a tricky, like you said, it's tricky.
It's hard for me whenever it's comes between my passion.
Yeah.
And the world, you know what I'm saying? Because it's part of the world.
That's what I said. You have to always constantly be waging war against self.
Yeah.
And I always, every so often, I like asking this question. I just wanted to see what y'all thought about it. Who is the real person? Is it the person that's right here in reality?
Man, that's tough.
Or is it the person on social media? Who is the real you at its core?
Yeah.
Can I get a better indication by looking at your social media of who you are at your core? Or is it the person I run into?
Yeah.
And do life with?
I see a lot of people that it's just that personality is just literally a social media personality and they're a completely different person in real life.
That's what I'm saying. So you see it with our kids nowadays, right? They will make they do these TikToks. You know what I'm saying? They know them.
Yeah.
And they express themselves in that way. But if you see them in real life, they don't even want to talk.
Yeah, I know. 100%.
They won't even look you in the eyes. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to text me.
For sure.
But yeah, let me answer this question and then I'm leaving. I guess what far as foundation wise, not only having, a partner that you can talk to and that you can communicate stuff with, but also having another woman that's also married and a Christian.
Oh, that's good.
I heard, so hold on. Notice she said married.
Yes.
Married and a Christian. All right.
Because you can't take, if you are a Christian woman, and if you're a married woman, you can't take advice from a single woman that's not a Christian.
Right.
Because
yeah, for sure.
they're not always going to give you the best advice. They're not, and they're not going to know, and they're not in the same. Because you can say all day, I don't want a man like that. I would never want to submit to a man. But until you're in that marriage and you're in something that's actually one person, it's one unit. It's not a separate unit. Until you've actually been there and discovered that and seen that and felt that, you can't give another married Christian woman an advice if you're single and you've never been.
Yeah, because you're not in that situation.
Yeah,
you don't know what it feels like.
Yeah,
you can give good advice, but it ain't the same.
Yeah, you're not, you just don't know what it's like to be at one unit. Like you can say, oh, well, you go do it because he did it. Like tit for tat. Like,
you do you.
That's just not the right advice.
Do you, boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? Man, and that's really good. And it's the same thing for men. You cannot take advice from a single man. Their perspective is different. Even if they used to be married, they're in a different season now, which means that mentality is going to be different.
A lot of times they're still hurt. They got trauma, so they're going to lead you a whole other direction.
Yeah. End this out, Drew.
All right, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you stop in, you share the video, and not only share the video, but make sure you tune in next Friday. We'll be here at 10 o'clock.
On time?
On time next week.
Drew's fault again.
On time next week. Again, it was your fault last week.